Sophia's cover-up is methodical and practiced. She knows panic creates mistakes, so instead of a messy scramble she quietly erases the obvious traces first. She wipes or alters digital records that tie her to the scene, calls in favors to make surveillance footage missing or corrupted, and leans on a couple of people in key positions to smooth over timestamps and paperwork. She also creates an alibi, someone to vouch for her presence elsewhere at the crucial time, and she feeds a few well-placed rumors to steer suspicion toward a convenient scapegoat. If physical evidence exists that could link her to the incident, she quietly relocates it or ensures it's cataloged incorrectly so it'll either be dismissed or misfiled. Most important for Sophia is that nothing about her public behavior changes. She keeps acting composed because any sudden emotional shift would invite closer scrutiny. So outwardly she's calm, inwardly she's doing the slow, careful work of making it look like she had nothing to do with whatever happened. Brady's path to connecting the dots is the opposite of panic. It's persistence. He notices the small things that don't add up. Timelines that were a little too neat, a lab report with a suspiciously clean signature, a witness who suddenly forgot a stray detail, or a surveillance camera that conveniently failed for no technical reason. Instead of accepting the official story, Brady starts pulling at those loose threads. He double-checks chains of custody, requests backup footage from alternative cameras, asks for raw data rather than the summarized report, and re-interviews people whose stories seem rehearsed. Brady's strength is that he's not looking for drama. He's looking for consistency. When one tiny inconsistency multiplies, conflicting phone pings, a bank transaction that contradicts an alibi, metadata timestamps that don't line up, he stops treating these things as isolated problems and starts treating them as a pattern. That pattern points him back to Sophia because she's the common denominator in locations, contacts, or who benefited from the cover-up. By tightening the timelines and forcing rechecks of physical evidence under stricter supervision, and by leaning on colleagues who owe him trust, Brady is able to elevate suspicion into a credible case that demands answers. Johnny's mission for answers is driven by urgency and emotion. Whether he's personally affected by the fallout or simply can't stand watching someone get protected, Johnny refuses to sit on the sidelines. He starts his own legwork, tracking down witnesses who weren't willing to talk to police, following up on gossip that seemed trivial at first, checking social feeds for offhand posts or check-ins, and sometimes confronting people who'd rather keep quiet. Johnny's approach is less procedural and more instinctive. He pushes people until they slip, he goes places the official inquiry doesn't, and he notices behavioral tells that an investigator focused on documents might miss. That willingness to be relentless is his strength, but it also puts him at risk. When Sophia senses Johnny is closing in, she can try to intimidate him by his silence or throw him off the trail with decoys. Johnny's doggedness, however, often turns up the sort of small civilian evidence that makes Brady's formal case airtight. A taxi receipt, a careless text, a surveillance angle someone assumed irrelevant. When the two investigations converge, the pressure on Sophia rises. Brady brings the procedural muscle, the evidence, the re-examined records, the corrected timelines, and Johnny brings the human element. Witnesses willing to talk once they aren't afraid. Together they can corner Sophia into contradictions she can't plausibly explain. At that point you'll see the classic soap options. A public confrontation where she's forced to answer for the discrepancies, a covert sting that gets her to reveal more than she intends, or a desperate attempt by Sophia to scapegoat someone else and flip suspicion away from herself. The emotional stakes are huge because anyone exposed as complicit in her cover-up will suffer damaged relationships and public disgrace. If police get involved, there are legal consequences too. There are also room for twist possibilities. Sophia may have been protecting someone else, a secret she thinks is worth hiding, or she might be a pawn herself in a larger scheme that Brady and Johnny only partially unravel at first. Alternately, Sophia could try an escape, running a staged disappearance, or a confession that's actually a redirection, which would extend the mystery and put Brady and Johnny on an even more personal quest.